So the first question is, given the current climate of fear-mongering about student college loan debt and its looming portrayal in some accounts, many might ask, is it even worth the investment or the time, in most cases, borrowed money, to even attend college today?
As I think about that question, I think it's critical for everyone to attend some form of higher education, whether it is a trade, whether it is a college or university. And looking at the financial climate, and I currently have a daughter who graduated for the University of Carnet-Word, and she's paying back her student loan there. And she tells me, oh my goodness, Mom, it's exorbitant, and you know, how am I going to do this? And you will. It's critical because, especially with people of color, those of us who had the ability, and I was very fortunate coming from Flint, Michigan, a migrant worker, having role models, and my parents had 8th grade education. So having role models that were my educators, and they were people of color, they were primarily African American because I grew up in a 90% African American community. And our educators were African American, but they convinced me that it was critical that I get my education because I was a person of color. I was unique and different to what society had planned that people should succeed. So as we look at our young people and they question, is it worth for me to continue my education knowing that after 4 years I'm going to owe sometimes over $100,000, over $38,000. You know, Mrs. Garcia, I don't know if I can do that. And I have mentored many young people to say, yes, you can. It is hard, as difficult as it is for you to say, can I do this or should I do this? You just say, how am I going to get there? Because there are programs. You just need to find them. That's one of the things that I've invested in many young people. It's not only getting your education and getting that degree and being persistent, not being afraid to take on that student loan, but afterwards it's who you know. As you've gone through this process, you've met different people in higher education, you've met people in the corporate sector and the community sector. Utilize them as a buffer. Get their opinion in reference to, okay, I've graduated now how can you assist me in trying to find employment so then I can pay off my student loans? It is critical, and we don't want that to shy away. There are so many young people, and as I continue to state, the young people of color, that when they think about that loan, and then they think about, especially those of us, you know, who come from lower incomes or came from lower incomes, we have to put food on the table. My parents can't afford it. San Antonio has a very low average income. And a lot of young people, they think about more, how am I going to help my family? How am I going to sustain them? Well, you know what, that education, that paper may not seem like a lot, that investment, it is an investment not only in your future, but in other young people from your community or family members. You need to show them that once you have a task at hand, you fulfill that task and you accomplish it. And accomplish it is paying off the debt. But it is finding creative ways and looking at creative ways to pay off that debt. And there are so many scholarships out there. I worked at the San Antonio Area Foundation for 8 years, and they have a $2.5 million scholarship program through Bexar County. And not many people know it. And then when the kids do find out, the high schools know it, but when you get down to the bare bones, which is the young person, we need to communicate that. We knew at the Area Foundation when I was there, we lacked that element of really educating, giving more information, because we can talk at a professional level and provide this information to the educators, but how do you get down to the trenches to the young person to say, it's real simple, get online.
Absolutely.
So yes, I
do
believe that we need to invest in our children and reiterate to our children that it is not that bad.
Thank you so much.